Welcome to Tiny Tours. I'm Howard Vestal, a docent at the Meadows Museum. Today we're looking at an unfinished portrait of Mariana of Austria by Diego Velasquez. This oil-on-canvas study is about 17 inches wide by 18 inches tall and was painted in 1656. Its likely purpose was to document the 21-year-old Queen Consort of Spain's new hairstyle, an elaborate wig headdress which was designed by Velasquez. With Picasso, Diego Velasquez is Spain's most famous artist. French artist Edouard Manet would later proclaim Velasquez the painter of all painters. Velasquez was trained by Francisco Pacheco, a dogmatic advocate of convention and norms in Spanish painting. Inspired by such Venetian masters as Titian and Tintoretto, however, Velasquez instead adopted a naturalistic style that found a devoted patron in King Philip IV. Velasquez developed a long, close relationship with Philip and was appointed Pintor de la Cámara, artist of the royal household. Our subject, Austria's Princess Mariana, was betrothed at age 3 to her cousin, King Philip's son. After Philip's wife and son both died, the 43-year-old king chose his 14-year-old niece, Mariana, to be his wife. The match was intended to strengthen political ties with Vienna's Holy Roman Empire, as well as to produce an heir to the Spanish throne. Their son, Charles II, was the victim of centuries of such royal inbreeding. Physically and cognitively impaired, he died childless, the last of the Habsburg kings. Let's look closely now at this important work because it reveals elements of Velasquez's portrait process and technique. First, its unfinished state suggests that little work was done by workshop assistants after Velasquez likely developed Mariana's likeness and loosely defined her headdress. Its incompletion also allows us to see evidence of the lead-white paint ground that was applied to the entire canvas. This is visible in thinly covered areas in the lower part of the canvas. This white base underlies Velasquez's application of translucent color. The white ground's reflection of light through these colors gives luminescence to Mariana's forehead, to her chin and rouged cheeks. It creates a pearlescent shadow under her lip and at the inside corners of her eyes. We notice, too, that Velasquez carefully softened her facial features to complement the young queen. Look at the gently blurred edges of her nose. Also notice the fuzzy intersections between her cheeks and the headdress, and at her chin and neck. Velasquez understood that detail in her costume and background may be imagined by the viewer. He tricks our eye with highlights to achieve this effect. From afar, notice the tiny pearls that dangle from the underside of Mariana's hair. Up close, these are simply impasto dots of lead-white pigment that suggest the idea of pearls against the darker background. As we close, what do we imagine our impassive young queen's thoughts were as she sat for this portrait over 300 years ago? Did she like her fancy new hairdo? In Velasquez's softness, his tricks with translucence, his suggestive dabs of pigment, and remembering Manet's remark, do we see a connection to the Impressionists, artists whose work would not emerge for another 200 years? We hope you've enjoyed looking with us at this marvelous painting. Thank you for listening. Plan to join us soon for more of the Meadows Museum's Tiny Tours.